Okay guys, so really big Yu-Gi-Oh! News announcement dropped today. Well, I say announcement, kind of more of a leak, but that is that we're finally getting support from Konami for alternative Yu-Gi-Oh! Formats. So this is really exciting, and it came via basically leaked emails that are being sent out to OTS card shops. That's to say, officially sanctioned tournament stores where Konami sends them, OTS packs and sneak peek kits and those sorts of things. So they'll of course email the shop owners with information about upcoming projects, campaigns, events, things like that. So I've got this screenshot here, and I'm going to be reading it. I don't really have the time to edit this video. I'm doing it pretty quickly because I have to go for the holidays. So I'm just going to link in the description the image so you can read it for yourself, but I can't really have it show up on screen. So yeah, just follow along. Alternative formats. Sometimes your Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG community wants to duel but would like to play with a twist. Up until now, the options have been limited. However, we're excited to announce that we've created some alternative formats for your duelists to enjoy. Alternative format events would be run just like your weekly local tournament. Duelists pay $5, receive one OTS pack, and enter into the tournament. You still need to run at least one advanced format tournament to maintain your OTS status, but adding these alternative format events to your tournament offerings allow your duelists even more ways to enjoy the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG. Okay, so this is cool. To make it easier for you to set up and track these events, we've updated the Konami card game network with the new event types for each of these alternative formats. And we'll send out more information at a later time. So, before we actually get into what the formats are, just that there shows that Konami is aware that players at local card shops oftentimes get a little bit tired of advanced format. Advanced format, of course, just being, well, the main format we play, the ban list you guys are all used to, and the card pool and all that stuff. Yeah, advanced format can be crazy. Lots of meta decks, lots of, overly competitive decks can sometimes kind of override a tournament, or also things can just get stale when people are bored of the format. And of course, people already play things like GOAT format and things like Edison format and those sorts of things. So it's not like this hasn't existed before, but now Konami is acknowledging it. So here are the formats. The Time Wizard format is a way for OTS to sanction retro format tournaments. The tournament setting will revolve around the rules and mechanics of the game as they were played during a specific point in time. All that's required when setting up the tournament is the Forbidden and Limited list being used and the latest legal set. For instance, if Time Wizard traveled back to the US National Championship in 2005, the tournament would be using the April 2005 Forbidden and Limited list, and the last legal set would be Dark Beginnings 2. So that is basically their example of how you could play something like GOAT format. The Time Wizard format, I suppose, can be any old format that you want. That means like it could be, that 2005 format, or it could be 2010, or it could be 2014, or, even like the 2019 era. A lot of these beloved formats that people like, it's kind of a snapshot in time, and you can now officially play those. That's cool. Next format is Heart of the Underdog, and it's one that I think a lot of people will like, although it's also one of the most ambiguous ones. As duelists test their deck building skills, they often find that certain decks are more powerful than the rest. Really, Konami? Currently, Drytron and Tri-Brigade decks are quite powerful. For Heart of the Underdog format events, OTS determine the deck types the duelists are not allowed to use for the event, such as Drytron or Tri-Brigade. Duelists then compete using less frequently used deck types, allowing for a more casual tournament where duelists can enjoy new and interesting card interactions and explore fun archetypes. That's interesting. Konami rarely uses the word archetypes. They typically call them themes or strategies that don't normally make the cut in competitive events. So yeah, Heart of the Underdog format basically means non-meta tournaments. Now this one is unique in that it's kind of up to the OTS to decide. So like your locals will pick what counts as a meta deck and what doesn't. And that, as I've actually talked about in the past here on this channel, can get pretty sticky. Like, if I say that you can't play Invoked, does that also include Invoked Shaddoll, Invoked Dogmatica, Invoked whatever else? Is Dogmatica broken just on its own, or is it only broken when it's with other decks? Same with this, maybe Shaddoll or something like that. What about Tri-Brigades? If I'm using Tri-Brigades with my Melfi deck that's kind of more fair, is that the same as using it with something else? So a little bit ambiguous, and the fact that it's up to OTS to decide means there's probably going to be a lot of problems. I'd like to see a bit more clarification here on what kind of constitutes an archetype or a strategy, but yeah, so this is the coolest one, I think. I think the one that people will flock to. Next is Common Charity. For Common Charity format events, duelists need to build a deck using only common cards. This applies to all parts of the deck, the main, side, and extra. So this one's neat. This is kind of similar, and they say this in the email, to the Pegasus challenge format. This is a thing that they tried like many years ago. I won't get into it. But basically, yeah, you have to use all common cards. This is a lot of fun, to be honest. I find that this will really stretch deck building quite a bit. Certain types, themes, archetypes, and stuff are a lot stronger because they have many more of their cards printed in common rarities. I remember like back when when the Pegasus challenge thing was new, this was things like zombies and Blackwings, which just had a lot of cards printed in the common rarity. So literally within this format alone, many modern archetypes just cannot be played. If we use the example of like Drytron or Tri-Brigade, there are literally just cards in those archetypes that are not printed common and just absolutely can't be run. I do think that this will be interesting to see if like there will need to be a ban list or, you know, some other stipulations, but yeah, okay. And then the last one, there's two more. Deckmaster. Based on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime arc when Noah Kaiba brought Yugi and friends into a virtual world, each duel allowed the duelist to select a Deckmaster to help them in multiple ways. Duelists begin each match by selecting a monster to serve as their Deckmaster. So the rules are the Deckmaster begins each game outside of the deck. Any effects of the monster apply as if the monster were face up on the field. Duelists can normal summon the Deckmaster to the field, ignoring any summoning requirements. Anytime they would be able to normal summon a monster. No tributes are required for high-level monsters, and no materials are needed for fusion monsters, synchro monsters, Xyz monsters, and link monsters. If the Deckmaster is destroyed, the duelist loses the game. This one's crazy. It's just crazy. Like, I think that this is a lot of fun and will be like popular among, you know, casual kind of anime fans, but also extremely easy to break. I mean, what if you pick something like the Last Warrior from Another Planet where your opponent simply cannot summon things, or something like Raid Raptor or Ultimate Falcon that just like can't be affected by anything, and that's like your Deckmaster? It just seems a little bit weird. Also, like, if the Deckmaster is destroyed, you lose the game, but does it count if like the Deckmaster is tributed or banished or sent from the field to the graveyard? I don't know. So we'll definitely need some clarification. This will definitely be one where like balances are gonna have to be put into place because it sounds very easily abusable. And finally, there's Rivalry of Warlords, which we don't get a full description for because the, I guess, screenshot cuts this off. We're excited to announce a new program that you will surely want to participate in, Rivalry of Warlords. This will be a fun and easy way to introduce duelists to themes they may not have commonly played. I believe that what the person said in the group, I didn't see the entire message, is that Rivalry of Warlords format is basically meant to be like Konami kind of forces players to play certain archetypes or like gives recommended deck lists or something out. That's my understanding of it. I don't want to say too much more because I'm not 100% sure, so I won't spread any misinformation, but from what we know now, these are the 5 different alternative formats that Konami is going to have. They each sound fun in their own way. I'm really glad to see Konami acknowledging the existence of these alternative formats and giving them some support. Although I do have my qualms, or not qualms, we'll say concerns. So like, here's the thing with this, right? These are cool, but how much is Konami going to support them? Like, shops could technically already do all of this. You could play, you know, GOAT format at your locals. You could play all common format at your locals. Nothing was ever stopping you. It seems like the only difference now is that Konami has an option within their tournament software where you can like pick, oh, okay, this is a alt format tournament. But other than that, they don't seem to be really like giving any assistance as far as like, you know, printing any extra cards is concerned. Like if I want to play a Time Wizard format, am I going to be able to get my hands on certain older cards? If I want to be able to play this common charity format, will we get more sets that print cards in common rarities? Are we going to get ban lists for things that could get a lot more broken, like this Deckmaster thing, which just sounds a little bit insane? Or, you know, like, will we get stipulations for how hard the Underdog works as far as like what an archetype is or isn't? I don't really know. And then the second question for me is like, is this going to be just something where like it's on the OTSs strictly to enforce and run and stuff? Will they get like special prize support? Like, I'd love to see a Heart of the Underdog themed playmat or a Time Wizard themed playmat as like prize support, or maybe special OTS packs. Will we see this type of stuff at like bigger events like YCSs and regionals, you know, to be played as like public events? So that way there's like there's levels to it. It's not just like, okay, I played at locals and it's fun, but I'll never get to really like do it on the big stage. I'd like to see a little bit more of that from Konami before I completely give this my seal of approval, but for now, it does get a thumbs up. It's a step in the right direction. It's cool, and I'd like to know from you guys, what do you think? What are you most excited about of these different formats? Do you see Konami, botching this somehow? Or do you think that it could really pick up a lot of steam and momentum? I'd love to hear what you think. I'll see you guys in the next one. Pass turn.